everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Obviously I'm back in the garage, so that means that I'm going to be working on the truck tonight. I have a pretty fun project to get started on. It's something that I've been putting off for a while, simply because it's not necessarily a cheap purchase, but it is my birthday this week, and my fiance surprised me with a gift. She bought me a Sherpa roof rack for my 3rd gen 4Runner. I've been wanting one of these for a long time. I know a couple of the guys that work out there, and I actually went and picked it up from the shop in person today. It's about an hour from my house over in Berthoud, Colorado, and everyone that I met over there today was super nice and helpful, so shout out Sherpa roof racks. In tonight's video, I'm not going to be going over step by step how to install everything necessarily, just because that's a little bit time consuming, and they have already made videos for all of these roof racks, vehicle specific, on their YouTube channel. If that's something that you're looking for, I'll go ahead and put their YouTube channel down in the description below this video. The first step is arguably the hardest step, I guess. I have to pull the tent off of the truck. It's about 140 pounds, so I obviously cannot do that by myself. I don't have a ton of daylight left. Once I get the tent off, I should be able to pull the truck in and get everything finished up if I lose sunlight. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna go ahead and jump into it. So my neighbor Zach came over and helped me lift the tent down off the truck, and this is what we're left with. And these are the crossbars that I had put on the truck. I used the factory tracks, and then basically, can't really see there, made these little contraptions here that have holes all the way through the top, and then mounted into plates. So there's 2, 2, 2, and 2. So these things were really strong and held up really well, but this was the main issue that I'm chasing down. With the weight of that tent and the way these crossbars are set up, the weight doesn't get dispersed very well. The roof was starting to feel like it was collapsing when you're kind of going down like a dirt road or just over bumps at like a kind of high speed. And it would kind of sound like someone standing up on the roof and jumping up and down. So that's been super annoying. I've been dealing with that for the last couple months. And I'm really hoping that by putting the roof rack on, that's able to disperse some of the weight from my tent. I also, in the near future, plan on getting a new tent that's a little bit more low profile, probably like a clamshell, and takes up more space of the roof rather than being small and the weight not being displaced very well. So that's the goal. But yeah, that's where we're at. I'm gonna go ahead and start unboxing the roof rack itself, get the crossbars pulled off, and keep moving. So getting everything pulled out of the box, I just wanted to pause and show you guys what you're gonna get when you get one of these racks. I have not opened this larger one yet, but those are the 2 side pieces of the rack. This is gonna be the front end that sits over your windshield. And then you have 9 crossbars in total. And then you have your 4 mounting plates that go into your factory roof tracks. And then the 2 that will mount to the static mounts in the front end above like your sunroof, or basically above the driver's seat. And then you get this big old bag of hardware and some blue Loctite. What I was just doing was getting the feet mounted onto these crossbars. The good thing about the Matterhorn is that none of this stuff is directional, so it's all pretty universal. Like when you go to install the feet, there's no finding which side is the top of each crossbar, what's front and back. They're symmetrical all the way around. So that's super helpful when you are getting to assembly. What I was doing was dropping T-nuts in these grooves and then getting the feet loosely mounted. But now that I'm finished with the 2 main crossbars, I have lost daylight. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the truck in here and then get these crossbars up there and go from there. Now that I'm in the garage, I don't have a ton of workspace because my garage isn't that big, but I do have light so I can see what I'm working on and continue to keep filming the process of getting this roof rack. So it's been a while. I got most of the roof rack on the truck. I did run into an issue while installing everything. This is about what the gap should look like. I can kind of slide my finger under the rack pretty easily all the way down the truck. And if you look over here, we're pretty much sitting on the body. So this corner where the rail is, I mean, you can kind of see it, but basically there's a big dent right above my head. And that dent was caused by my tent being up here. And over time and driving really rough with the tent up there, that's a lot of weight. That tent is 140 pounds with nothing in it. And I drive around with a sleeping bag and some other sleeping gear in there as well. So not a ton of extra weight, but 140, 150 pounds on the roof at all times. And driving this thing pretty hard. It was bound to happen. But I'm not exactly sure what the fix is just yet. You can kind of see it's fairly easy. The roof almost detaches from whatever support structure is inside. So for the time being, I think I'm gonna get some longer mounting hardware and then just raise this up, I don't know, a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, however high I need to go to mimic that side. That's a short-term fix. Long-term, I'll probably have to tear all of the interior out of the truck and get the headliner out and just do some further inspecting and see if there is a fix and I'm able to re-support this section of the roof and make it sit at the height it's supposed to be. So that's super unfortunate, but it is what it is. It's an old truck and I drive it really hard. I'm honestly not that surprised. And that's also kind of my luck. Jump into one project and that pretty much opens the door for the next. At this point, with all the crossbars on, everything's nice and loose, so it's all still adjustable. I'm gonna go ahead and jump into getting the visor and the static mounts on. Like I said earlier in the video, I was never planning on going step by step through this process. I am kind of referencing the Sherpa installation video in between steps, so I do recommend doing that. There is a lot of parts. Although it's not difficult, there's a lot of pieces. With all the crossbars on, I got the static mounts put onto the front of the rack, and honestly, it helped with the issue that I was having on the driver's side a lot. Although I know that that's not the fix that I need. It does keep the rack up off of the paint and off of the body. So at the very least, it'll keep it from rattling on the roof. So my last step is to get the wind fairing installed. Learned that from the Sherpa video. I was calling it a visor a couple minutes ago. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this on my last crossbar that I have here and get it installed on the front of the rack. It's late. I'm gonna go inside for the night. I got everything on the rack assembled. When I get home from work tomorrow, I'm gonna come home, do some final adjustments, make sure everything's nice and tight, pull it out of the garage, and show you guys how it looks. It's the next day. I just got home from work. Before I tighten everything down, I haven't checked the swing of the hatch, so I'm gonna do that now. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the truck out in the driveway, make sure that the rear hatch is swinging how it should and isn't interfering with the rack at all. Luckily, I don't have to do any adjusting, moving the rack forward or back. I'd say this is honestly a perfect amount of space in between the hatch and the roof rack. And then the spoiler has plenty of room up here too, so it's not gonna touch the crossbar. So I'm happy with that. What do you think? I let the day get away from me a little bit, losing daylight again. We did just get back from driving around for a while, sped up over a couple bumps, didn't have any kind of rattle or any kind of noise up there. We're good to go in that sense. My next step would be to get the tent mounted back up there. I did get this kit from Sherpa, and basically it's just some more mounting feet and some more hardware and T-nuts that will make it a little bit easier to mount a tent onto the rack rather than trying to reach around and use the mounts that I had previously up there. I probably won't do it tonight, only because I will have to get my neighbor back over here to help me lift, and I still have another day or two before I'm gonna go out and do some wheeling. So yeah, I'll circle back around tomorrow, get the tent on there, and show you guys the finished product with the tent up there. Like I said last night, I did get a tent mounting kit from Sherpa. It's 8 of these individual mounting plates. You're able to use the tent mounting plates that go into the tracks of the bottom of your tent. And then these 3 small holes will go into the side of my crossbars. What I was told by my buddy is you pull 3 of the crossbars off the truck. It'll make it a little bit easier to mock everything up on the tent. And then from there, you'll throw everything on, get the crossbars remounted, and then we'll be good to go. So just finished getting the crossbars and the mounting feet on the bottom of the tent. Did my best to get everything nice and square so I don't have to make too many adjustments when I'm on the roof. And honestly, with the side skirts being on the roof rack, it seems like it might be the only way. Once the tent's up there, you can't really get underneath of it to tighten anything, so wish me luck. I'm gonna go ahead and see if my neighbor can help me get this up there and get her tightened in, and we'll be finished. Just finished getting the tent onto the truck. It was definitely a little bit easier than I anticipated. My neighbor was nice enough to come and help me out and lift that up there. Kind of used the drill just for a little bit of speed, and then went through and hand tightened every single bolt on the rack. Just one last time. We are gonna go out and wheel this weekend, so I just wanna make sure everything's nice and tight. The tent does sit an inch or 2 higher than it used to on the old cross racks, which I don't absolutely love, but I am planning on getting a lower profile wedge style or clamshell tent. So that'll definitely take away from some of the height whenever I go ahead and purchase that. I might throw a couple clips from out on the trail this weekend, just so you guys can see the rack and the tent out on dirt opposed to sitting in my driveway. Overall, pretty easy process. Shout out Sherpa roof racks. Like the way this one looks, you should go and check them out. They have a ton of different options for a wide variety of different vehicles. Thanks guys for watching, and see you next time.
He's filming his YouTube channel. What a dork.